Good morning everyone, it's the 20th of May and happy birthday to those of you whose birthday it is today, including our special ones. And it's very warm in Edinburgh. So today we're going to do some standing. So if we like to stand up, and what we'll need is a firm chair so that we can use that to help us. If you happen to be quite flexible, you may just want instead to have a couple of blocks. So it's when we come to go down, you've got something that is the right height for you. Okay, so let's just start off then with the feet hip distance, spreading our toes, and let's inhale. Just bring the shoulders up to the ears and exhale down. Inhale up to the ears, exhale down. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears, exhale down. Now we're going to start to rotate the shoulders, and as we do that, let the knees bend a little bit so you're involving the body. Lovely big circles. And as we're doing that, we're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Lovely. Now we're changing direction. Lovely. And then just finish with a back and down. So we're going to do little circles now, but this time not with the shoulders, but in the shoulder blades. So it's a little bit, see if you can feel the difference. So you're just rotating your shoulder blades. Keep the knees soft. Okay, and then change the direction of that shoulder blade rotation. Great, and then release. Okay, so now just make sure that you're far enough away from the wall that when you take your arm back, you're not going to bang the wall or anything else. And facing forward with our knees soft, we're going to inhale, and we're going to just make circles with our right arm. So as much as possible, we keep our shoulders facing forward, but that right shoulder might go slightly back. Okay, and we'll change the direction now, going the other way. Bend our knees slightly as we do that. Bend the knees, Richard. Lovely, and then we'll change, so left arm. Breathing. Keeping the shoulders forward if we can. So you're feeling that rotation in the shoulder joint. Change the direction. Lovely. Okay, now both arms together. Involving the knees. Breathing. Shoulders down as you do your circles. Change the direction. Lovely, and then release. Nice. Okay, so feel nice and warmed up in the chest. So we'll take our feet now 3 feet apart, stretch up with the left arm, sliding down with the right. So as you stretch up, really feel that stretch through the left side before you go down. Nice straight arm. Inhale, back up. Send that right arm up to the ceiling, sliding down. And up. So let's do the first side again. Second side. Stretching up. And release. Great. Okay. Taking our feet a little bit wider. Feet parallel. Bend our knees. So you can have the hands on the knees. If that's easy for you, you can bring the elbows on the knees. And for those of you that are pretty flexible, you can just let your hands drop on the floor, let your head go down. And then we're taking the weight over to the right foot, bending our right knee, but keeping our left leg straight. And we're getting that stretch in the inner left thigh. Breathing. And then changing over to the other side, bending that left knee. You can keep your hands on the knees or the elbow, or if you're more flexible, you can have the hands on the floor. But just find a level where you feel secure, and also where you get that stretch on the inner thigh. Nice. And then coming back to center, bring the hands back to the knees again, pushing through the hands to come up. Great. Okay, so we're going to come down the mat till we're facing our chair. And let's take the left foot forward and keep the right foot back. We're turning the right foot slightly. And then bringing the hips, so we're wanting to turn that right hip to the right, but keep the left hip going to the left. So you're opening up in the hips as you hinge forward and take your hands onto the chair. You can have the hand on the top of the chair if that gives you a better stretch. For those of you that are more flexible, you can bring your hands down to blocks or onto your leg. Now, taking the shoulders away from the ears, we're lengthening out from the top of the right leg. Use the wall, Anna, so you can use the support of the wall if you like. And then we're going to inhale to come up. Lovely. So if you've actually got a wall behind you, it's better to use the support of the wall. So when you go into the position, so we're going to go to the left now. So you want your chair on the left. So, so when you go down, the wall's behind you. Okay, so we're going to now take right foot out. So we're going down to the right. I said that wrong. You want the chair on the right hand side. So right foot out, left foot slightly in, and we're going to hinge forward from the top of that right leg. Lengthen. So Richard, can you get your hand a bit higher? That's a little bit too low for you. So you want to make sure that both sides of the waist are even length. And then if that's fine, you can take up your arm. Those of you that are well down can take the hand on the leg or use blocks if you like. But otherwise, stay nice and high, and you want to get the feeling of lengthening. So the spine is elongated. And we're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. So this is trikonasana, triangle pose. Great. And then we're going to inhale to come back and bring the feet forward again. Right, let's try a tree pose. So with our tree pose, we can use our wall to support us again, But you don't want to go so close that you're actually against it, but just close enough that your hands can easily reach without having to lean back. And we're standing on that left foot. Take the right foot up. And as much as possible, we want to keep the left hip above the left ankle. Now, if that feels okay for you, you can stretch out the arms. If you, Anna, you can just bring the hands together like that. Rotate your palms, or you can do something like that, a big Y shape. If you're heavily pregnant, you don't want to have to work your arms and your legs, so you can just have your arms as long as they're not going, well, basically shouldn't really be higher than your heart. So you can do something like that. That's a nice open pose for someone who's pregnant. Stretch the arms, and then those of you that can then start to come up. So Anna, can you really lengthen the arms out away from your chest? That's it. Open the sternum, and you can have your hands on the wall so that you feel supported. Not just your thumbs behind you. Are you facing towards me or away from me? I can't see. Lovely. And then we are going to bring the hands to the chest and come down. Okay, and we'll try to the other side. So, bring that left foot up to the right. Fingertips on the wall, roll the shoulders back and down. So again, we can stretch the arms. So if we're not taking the arms high, but just bring them to about heart level, but stretch them out. And you can have your fingertips on the wall, so you're getting a lovely open chest. And if you're taking the arms up, turn your palms, and you can take the arms up. Keep both elbows straight. Breathing. Feel how your foot has to work quite hard to get that balance. Lovely. And then release. All kinds of cats and toddlers changing, making that a little bit awkward. Okay, so now we're going to bring our chair back to our left-hand side again. So if you've got the wall's behind you. And so bring your foot so it's the left foot forward, the right foot back, and have your leg just in front of your chair. So we're going to rotate and bend our left knee. You can use the chair to support you, and as much as you can be pressing that back heel down into the floor. Now for some of you that's going to be quite hard, so you can come onto the ball of the foot. So we're facing down the mat. So you want to rotate, Richard. Bend our knee, facing down, and then what we're going to do is lift the right leg and stretch over to the left. Keep dropping down in that left knee. Use the chair to support you if you need. Breathing. So this is giving us a stretch through the hip flexor. Lovely. And then release. So you want to move the chair so you can have your right foot just to the side of the chair. Your left foot is back. And we're going to bend that right knee. You can use the chair to support you and keep your back heel down if you can, but otherwise just roll onto the ball of the back foot and have your heel slightly off the floor. And then we're taking our left arm up in the air and we're just leaning over now to the right. And as we do, see how much you can drop down in that right hip. Breathing. Keep dropping your feet. You might be able to take your feet slightly wider. And release. Great. I'm not sure what you were all doing there, but I think some of you got it. Okay. Right. From there, let's get our chair back center again at the end of our mat. And we're going to be facing our chair. And we'll take our right foot up onto the chair. And then we're taking our left hand on the outside of the right, so the outside of your right knee, and we're doing a little stretch to the side. Now, if that's okay, you can then lift your knee up to balance. So if possible, you're not actually using the chair for your foot. Try and keep your hips over your ankle. Keep rotating, open the chest. Rolling that right shoulder back to the right. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Lovely. And release. Good. Okay, let's try that to the other side. So we're facing our chair, and this time we're taking our left foot up. Bringing the left foot up, so we're making an angle here, well, ideally a right angle. Take your right hand on the outside edge of your left foot and lift and rotate. So if you can from there, you can bring the knee up. Shoulders down away from the ears. Breathing. You can use your hand on the wall if you've got a wall there to support you in that rotation. Lovely. And release. Ah, yeah, that's better. Good. And then just ease out. So we're going to just do a little uttanasana in between now. So feet hip distance, and you can be further away from your chair if you like. You're just stretching down in a way that's comfortable, giving yourself loads of room if you're quite pregnant. And in fact, you can have your hands quite high if that's better for you. You can have your arms on the upper bit of the chair. Yeah, don't go too low, Richard, that's fine. And you'll feel that stretch in the back of the legs. That's very nice, Hazel. I can tell by the line on your trouser that you're very straight. And then just let your head either rest on the chair, or those of you that are happy with that, you just hang. And you can turn the backs of the hands on the floor, arms facing up. Elbows going out to the side. Nice. And then to come up, we're bringing our arms back on the chair, and then gradually coming up. Bend the knees before you straighten up to protect your back. If your back's a little bit hunchy, rather than coming up like that, it's better to bend your knees and then see if you can open the chest to come up with a nice open chest. Great. Okay, so I think we'd like to do our reverse trikonasana. So we're going to, if you're using the wall, we're going to do this. I'll show you. Start off with the feet hip distance. Turn right foot out, left foot in, and then we're going to turn like that to the wall. So those of you, I'll do it 2 times, one for the wall people and one for the chair people. So if the wall people, face your wall now. So you're facing the wall, you're turning your right foot out, left foot in, slide your left arm through so you can then be opening the chest. And if you are able, you can then bring the arm down lower, but there's no need to do that, you can keep high. So those of you not using walls, feet hip distance, parallel, and we're taking right foot forward. And then we're going to turn to bring our left hand onto our chair and rotate our trunk to face into the middle. And then you can bring the arm up. So it's up to you how tall you go. If you can have your arm quite high. What we're looking for is to really rotate and open in the shoulders. So those of you who are on the wall, you're trying to get both shoulders on the wall. And we're breathing. And then if you can slide forward, then that's great. You feel that in your legs probably. So this is reverse triangle. Breathing. So you can slide your right. You can slide your right hand down the wall, Anna. If you slide that right hand away from you, you can slide it down and away so that you start to lean forward a little bit. And then inhale to come up. And then we'll do it from the chair first. So you're taking left foot forward, keep your right foot back. And then we're taking our right hand this time. And we're going to hinge forward. So you're opening the chest. Just take the hand wherever it works for you. You might need to stay quite high. Some of you can get lower. It depends on your hamstrings. Yeah, that's it, Anna, lovely. So if you're using the wall, you've got the wall behind you. Left foot out, right foot in, turning. So you want to have your trunk facing to the side of your mat. Back foot working hard. You might feel that in the back calf. Shoulders away from the ears. And then inhale, come back up. So let's take our hands onto our chair, feet together. If we can bend our knees before we come up, if we're a bit stiff in the back. Lovely. And then ease out. Okay. Right, I think we'll head to the floor now. So you can put your chair aside and we're going to get something to sit on that we're comfortable with. And we're bringing the soles of the feet together. And just check that you've got your belt handy. So we'll do our trikonasana, soles of the feet together. So you want to get nice and high so that you feel that your spine, so that your spine can be aligned, and you don't want to have to, you don't want your spine to be rounded. So if you find that you're rounding, you just need to get yourself higher, and then you'll be able to straighten your spine. So if we can bring the soles of the feet together, and we'll take our belt and put it around the feet. And then we're just holding onto our belt, opening the chest, and we're breathing. In through the nose, out through the nose. So we want to make this quite an active pose, so you're actively pushing the feet, pushing the soles of the feet together, particularly the little toe side. So if you're finding this quite easy, you can think about separating out the joint of the big toe, beginning to move that away, moving them away from each other, and then you get that feeling of the knees moving further down. And also, your sit bones are going down, crown of the head's going up. It's a very active position. And then see if you can hinge forward a little bit. Just bringing your belly slightly forward, keeping the back straight, opening your chest. And then we're going to take the hands behind the back. If you've got the wall there, that's okay. You can just have them either side. Wide arms. Don't have them so far. Take them out to the side. And see if you can bring your chest forward so you feel that squeeze between the shoulder blades. Really nice. Lovely. Now, if you think you've got more, that you can go further, what you want to do is think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. See if you, as you do that, if your arms go further back, and hold that for a moment, bringing the chest forward. You feel that in the upper back. And then some of you can catch your hands and push the hands away to keep the chest coming forward. If that just is too tight, you can also take your belt and just catch your belt, which gives you a little bit more breathing space, a little bit more option. And then if you can start to lift your arms, lift your hands a little bit. And release. So if this position isn't working for you, you can just have your legs straight, or you can have your feet like this, or have your legs straight. You can do the same thing. So just hold this for a little bit longer. We're going to do the same thing again, take the hands back, but when those of you that are clasping, when you clasp, we're going to clasp with the other little finger on the outside. So let's start off first of all with arms wide. We're just bringing our tummy forward a little bit. Breathing. So you'll feel that in the groin as you come forward a little bit. See if you can squeeze your shoulders together and notice if your arms go further back. And then taking your belt, or if you can clasp, but with the clasp the other way, push your hands away. And we're breathing. You can see if you can lift your arms up a little bit. Coming forward, so keep the spine really long. Let's hold for 5 breaths. Dropping the knees if you can. Lovely, and release. Good, and then we can stretch out our legs. And we're going to take our belt. So check that you're propped up on your cushion if it feels better for you. And then we're going to take our belt in the right hand. Nice and straight. Open the chest. So if you find that that's quite easy to do, you can always work your hand down your belt. Or you can make your loop tighter, right? So that you're actually slightly leaning down into your belt. But there's no need to do that if that's not working for you. It really depends on the hamstrings and also the hip flexor. So from there we're going to start to turn away to the left. Take our left arm out and just look along your left arm, opening the chest. Breathing. So don't turn with your head, rather turn with your shoulder. So although your head goes with your shoulder, you're not throwing your head back. Can you feel the difference? So you're going to be feeling that in the upper back. Lovely. Hold. Breathing. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. So Victoria, try and turn your shoulder a bit more. Aha, that's it. And then release. Nice. And then we're going to take that to the other side. So if I can just show you what I mean on this side. So when we do our rotation, it's not, I might have to turn the other way to show you what I mean. So if I'm going, so when you do your rotation, it's not a question of throwing your arm back and then kind of doing this with your head in a way that hurts your neck. It's a question of rotating from the shoulder, and your arm comes with you just because it's attached, but you're not flinging your arm back on its own, unattached to what's happening in the shoulder joint. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to the left. So we can go down, those of you that can start off quite already leaning slightly to the left. We're rotating from the left hip around to the right hip. Rotating that right shoulder. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing. Breathing. Keep the shoulders dropping. Lovely. And release. Okay, so we're going to now take that up a level. So if you found that was already quite challenging for you, then you can just repeat. And you can also, if it was a bit too much, then just don't go down so far and don't go round so far. Just think really tall. But for those of you that were wanting to get a little bit more challenge, you can get down your foot. Some of you can catch your foot. And then we're going to lift our arm up, rotate the inner elbow, the inner arm, to bring it over the ear. And then we're stretching over the right leg. If you can get your right elbow to the outside edge of your right knee, you can use that to help you rotate. And then those of you that are well down can catch. You can use, if you bend your elbow and then just catch your head with your hand, that's a good transition way to get down. All the time we're looking to rotate our trunk up towards the ceiling. Breathing. Yep, and then inhale to come up. So again, just go as far as you're enjoying. So we always want these stretches to be enjoyable, not if they're hurting you or causing you discomfort, then you want to ease off a little bit. All right, so we're going to try that to the left. So as I say, just you don't need to take this to the next level. It's just for those of you that are up for that. So we're going to take the left arm down to the left, rotate, bring the right arm up. So wanting to really rotate in the inner arm so that the right inner arm is by your ear, and then we're bringing that left elbow inside the left knee and stretching and turning. Breathing. Yeah, keep the arms straight though, Richard. So, and rotate. So see if you can push against your leg, either with your hand or with your elbow. And we're getting a turn. Breathing. So those of you that are able to get down, you can bend the elbow, place the head onto your hand as a transition before catching around the feet. So you want your left hand on the inside of the left leg and the right hand on the outside of your foot. Sorry, not leg, foot. Breathing. So all the while we're trying to rotate away towards the right hand side or up towards the ceiling. Lovely, and release. Right. Great, okay, so from there, let's bring our legs back together. And we'll pop back up on our raise if we've come off it. Right, take your feet hip distance, feet on the floor, and then just see if you can come forward into a little squat position. You can use the hands on the floor if you like, and you can come onto your toes if your heels don't stay down. And you can also use your chair to support you, if that works. So you can have the knees apart, and then if you can, you just can bring the hands together. So then if that's okay for you, if you're pretty heavily pregnant, you can always use, well, you don't have to be pregnant to do this, but you can have something behind you to rest your heels on. But even if you are doing that, try and think about bringing the weight slightly forward. If you're not heavily pregnant, you might want to try this, which is to bring your elbows inside your knees and then pushing against your knees, bring the hands together. So that's opening the groin, and we're sitting down from the tailbone begins to sit down, but lengthening the sternum forward. Lovely. And then those of you that want to take that into balance, then you can drop your elbows lower and bring your hands on the floor, and then we're just transferring the weight onto the hands, and then lifting the toes off the floor. So don't try this if you're pregnant. By the way, yeah, I wouldn't do it if you're pregnant because it's quite a lot, quite strong on the core. That's it, palms spread. Anybody getting up? Yep, Victoria, you're usually able to do that. So I'll go through that one more time. So you're in your squat, you take your elbows as low as you can, pushing against your knees, take the hands on the floor, find a place for your legs to rest against your upper arms, and then transferring your weight, taking your feet off the floor. So you're balancing through your arms. Okay, good. That's it. Excellent. Well done. Okay, and then release. Yeah, Richard, good. Okay, so from there we're going to if you're heavily pregnant, we're going to do it this way. We're getting a little glute stretch, so we're leaning against the wall with sitting on something, knees bent, and we're just going to bring our right ankle in front of our left knee to get our little glute stretch. So if you prefer to do it this way, you can. It's a rather nice way to get into that right glute. But if you're not using the wall, we'll go to the floor, and you can always bring your calves on your chair, and then slide. So we've got our right ankle in front of our left knee. Just slide that left foot forward till we get a little stretch in that right glute. Breathing. And remember to pop something under your head, for those of you when you lie down, if you find that a bit uncomfortable and if your chin tends to stick up in the air. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. So relaxing the breath after those strenuous poses. And then we'll change legs. So bringing now whether you're against the wall or on the floor, you're bringing now the left ankle in front of the right knee. Just get your right knee in the position farther away or nearer, whatever you need to get a nice stretch. Yeah, Hazel, pop something under your head, I think, just a wee cushion. That's it. Just make sure that your shoulders stay relaxed. So that's where it's quite handy having something under your head. You don't want to start hunching in the shoulders. So if you want to increase it, you can slide your ankle down a wee bit. Lovely, and then release. So this next one, we're going to do it from starting from a sideways position. So if you, we're going to go on the right side and have some cushions or something like that. We're going to bring our knees onto our cushions, lying on the floor. You might want something under your head. And then we're going to just rotate our left shoulder over to the left. Now, adjust your position with your knees so that you're not uncomfortable. If you can roll around more. Hopefully some of you can get your left shoulder on the floor. So just find the right height for you, either nearer or further away. And we're breathing. In through the nose. And out through the nose. Lovely, and then we'll take that to the other side. So you can start off leaning to your left with your knees raised up on your cushion, and then we're going to just rotate that right shoulder down to the right and just adjust the knee height to suit you so that you're getting the stretch that works for your body just now today as it's feeling. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, relaxing your fingers. See how much you can soften into that. Just letting your fingers curl. And noticing the rise and fall of your breath. Lovely, good. And then from there we're going to prepare for our relaxation. So roll onto one side for a moment to get up. So if you're heavily pregnant, just choose which side you prefer, and then you can go into a sideways relaxation, and you can pop something between your knees and have something under your head so that you're very comfortable. So take the time to get that position. And sometimes not everybody feels good about lying on their back, so that's always an alternative, just to lie on your side. But those of us that are up for it, then if you want to lie on your back, but we'll just start off with putting something under our knees, and we'll do a little trikonasana stretch first. So, soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to go out to the side. And then have something under your head. If that feels more comfortable for you, tuck your shoulders under. And then we're just allowing the knees to open to either side, soles of the feet together. Making it, the more you can roll your shoulders, tuck your shoulders under, then you'll find that that rotates the arm naturally, and then you find that the the inner arm is then facing up to the ceiling, so your palms will face to the ceiling. If your shoulders are rolling that way, then it's not, your palms won't be, so see if you can get that rotation in the shoulders and take it down the arms so that your palms face up. So at that point, if you want to then start to let your legs go slightly straighter, you don't necessarily have to keep your soles of the feet together. And we can use a rug or something. Actually, don't really need one today, do you? And then we're just going to follow our breath. So whichever position you're in now, just do your last little fidgets. And then we'll just stay in that position, following the breath as we breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Just allow the lower jaw to fall away from the upper jaw, the tongue soft in the mouth. So it's just a little gap between the lips. And you can take the inner gaze, keeping the eyes closed, to that point above the bridge of the nose and between the eyebrows. See if you can let your weight just fall a little bit more heavily to the ground on every exhalation. And then we're going to, when we're ready, just think about bringing our awareness back to our body, lying on the mat. And we're going to get ready to move our fingers and toes. Gently stretch the arms and legs, just kicking away anything that you were using. And then just have a good stretch, big stretch. And then we'll just roll onto one side, taking a moment. Just noticing how you're feeling, bringing the knees up. And then as we're ready, we'll come into sitting. And get ready to all finish together. So if we bring our hands together. Lovely. Thank you all very much. Have a nice day in this lovely weather, and yeah, get outside. Unlimited exercise, and see you on Friday.